Meghan Markle's desperate move to secure an invite to Valentino's funeral has completely backfired, and sources are spilling all the juicy details about her cringe-worthy phone calls and frenzied attempts to latch onto fashion's elite. What we're witnessing is the unraveling of Meghan's post-royal ambitions. The big shocker? She didn't even bother to send a condolence message to the family of the legendary designer before setting her sights on a spot at the funeral. You can't make this up.
Meghan Markle crashed Valentino Garavani's funeral in Rome uninvited, with entourage and big camera crew to film for her image rehab. Security booted her fast. No respect for the dead, just her brand. Utterly classic.
Everyone's talking about how Meghan Markle didn't get an invite to the private funeral in Rome. That, my friends, is the wrong story. The real story is that her private outreach became public, and that only happens when the room wants you exposed and not included, which is bad news for Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle is in California with her wanting to be in the UK husband, trying to get back to the UK. But what is so alarming to me is how Meghan continues to want to create these ripples in these other areas and parts of the world, as she did a few days ago.
It is a lot of fun to see so much of the royal family, and in such a strategic way, to where we're learning a little bit more about them, but really their mission is to get these important causes out there.
You had to be creative, but today you click your fingers and you've got all these platforms beating a path to the doorway of Buckingham Palace or Kensington Palace saying, yeah, we'll make it.
We're going to the press conference when the restoration of the castle was finished, and it was announced that it had been done within the budget, within the time. The press was so disappointed.
This ripple effect happens in a lot of areas in Hollywood, people who are famous.
Hard to tell you why I cannot stand Meghan Markle so much. After all, there are a lot of know-nothing, attention-seeking former actresses in this world. Part of it is because I do love the UK so much, and I think we effectively exported our worst cultural asset to hurt their royal family. And the other part of it, though, is the way that the media has always lapped up her obviously false claims and fed into her delusions of grandeur, which culminated in her and her husband, Prince Harry.
I have no idea where this came from, and as I told you and your producers...
I bet it came from Meghan's team. I bet you anything it came from Meghan's team. Come on.
Absolutely.
On January 19th, 2026, the world of fashion lost a titan. Valentino Garavani, the iconic designer who helped shape the world of glamour, passed away at the age of 93. His funeral, held on January 23rd, promised to be a grand affair with names like Donatella Versace, Tom Ford, and Anna Wintour on the guest list. A dream come true for anyone in the fashion world. But what did Meghan Markle do in response? She made a flurry of calls, trying to secure a spot at the event. The sources close to Meghan revealed that she wasn't interested in the funeral for its significance or its sadness. Oh no, this was all about one thing: getting photographed next to the A-listers. The fashion world, however, wasn't so easily swayed. Meghan had never been a regular at Valentino's shows. Sure, she wore his designs, but that wasn't enough to earn her a spot at such an exclusive event. No, Meghan wasn't looking for respect, she was looking for access. She wanted to be seen. She wanted to be pictured standing next to powerhouses like Anna Wintour and Donatella Versace. But here's the thing, the fashion elite aren't as easy to fool as the media often lets on.
Valentino's work, we're learning today he passed away at the age of 93. Let me start with showing you the announcement and how we heard about this, Reed. This came through on social media just within the last hour or so. It says, Valentino passed away today at his home in Rome, surrounded by his loved ones. It goes on to say that a funeral will take place in Rome at 11 a.m. in the coming days.
And this wasn't the first time Meghan's attempted such a stunt. Let's not forget about her audacious crash at Paris Fashion Week, where she tried to force her way into the Balenciaga show. It didn't work there, and it didn't work here. Meghan thought she could leverage her connection with Valentino's former creative director to pull a fast one. But instead, she got the cold shoulder. Sources revealed that Meghan was publicly rejected in a manner that was nothing short of humiliating. The funeral went on, and Meghan was nowhere to be seen. The world saw through her desperate moves, and the fashion world didn't hesitate to shut her out. Meanwhile, Anne Hathaway delivered a heartfelt tribute to Valentino's legacy, and the fashion icons in attendance made sure to remember the man and his work, while Meghan was left out in the cold.
Prince Harry nearly broke down in tears in court today, weeping about Meghan Markle's misery. And he was told to stop arguing back by the judge. Well, Prince Harry was giving evidence in his privacy claim against the publisher of the Daily Mail and the Mail on Sunday in the High Court today.
But don't forget about Harry. While Meghan was on her mission to crash a funeral, Harry was having his own public meltdown. Across the channel in London, Harry faced a barrage of tough questions in a lawsuit against a major newspaper. But instead of sticking to the matter at hand, Harry got sidetracked, arguing with the defense lawyer and refusing to let the case be about the actual issue. Even the judge had to step in multiple times, telling him to stop arguing and just answer the questions. The courtroom drama surrounding Harry only added fuel to the fire as the media continued to scrutinize every move Meghan and Harry made. The question on everyone's lips: why is Harry turning a lawsuit about privacy violations into a public display about Meghan's pain? Let's break this down. Meghan thought she could waltz into Valentino's funeral, thinking that her royal status and celebrity would get her an invite. But the fashion world wasn't buying it. She had no real connections, no solid history with Valentino, and her desperation showed. This isn't about honoring a designer. This is about being seen in the right places with the right people. And when that didn't work, Meghan's attempts were exposed for what they really were, an ill-fated bid to leverage a man's death for her own gain.
Meghan Markle has always wanted to be an A-lister, not adjacent, not inspired by. She wants to be on the inside, but she genuinely believed that marrying into royalty meant that she could simply just inherit elite status and that everybody would just swing the door open for her. Because the highest circles in Hollywood, royalty, fashion, finance, legacy power, it doesn't matter, your HR department, it will operate under one unbreakable rule. What happens on the inside stays on the inside, and everybody's hush-hush. Nobody talks about it, nobody hints about it, nobody has a source close to will say that they know about it.
And Harry, well, it's clear that he's still fully under Meghan's spell. In the courtroom, when he should have been focusing on his own case, he couldn't stop talking about her, even breaking down emotionally. Is this what happens when your personal drama gets mixed into everything you do? Meghan's shadow looms large over Harry's every move, and it's evident he just can't break free from her narrative. Now let's talk about the real kicker here, Meghan Markle's ongoing struggle to fit into Hollywood's elite circles. She's chasing fame, fashion, and fortune, but the more she tries to insert herself, the more she's exposed for lacking what really matters: authenticity. Her public image is built on carefully crafted stunts, and the cracks are starting to show. What she doesn't realize is that in the world of fashion in Hollywood, being seen doesn't mean you belong.
The fashion designer Valentino Garavani once said he knows what women want, quote, they want to look beautiful. And he helped some of the most famous women in the world achieve exactly that goal. Valentino, as he was simply known, died today at his home in Rome. He was 93 years old.
Legend in the fashion world has died. We're just getting word fashion designer Valentino Garavani passed away today after a life of creating beauty, the age of 93.
Meghan's desperate attempts to climb the social ladder are a glaring reminder of her deep insecurities. From her endless efforts to crash exclusive events to her carefully curated Instagram posts, Meghan is obsessed with one thing: being seen as part of the in crowd. But as sources close to the fashion world reveal, it's not working. Meghan is seen as a social climber, someone who's trying to force her way into places she doesn't belong. And it's not just the fashion world that's turning her away. It's Hollywood, too.
The stars of fashion in Hollywood pack a basilica in Rome to remember design icon Valentino. Anna Wintour, Donatella Versace, Tom Ford, Anne Hathaway among those paying their respects at Valentino's funeral today. He died on Monday at the age of 93 at his residence in Rome.
Meghan thought marrying into the royal family would give her a free pass into the highest echelons of society. But now, she's learning the hard way that royal status doesn't automatically open the doors to fame and fortune. Her Netflix series? A flop. The hype around her big deals and projects has fallen flat. After all the promises of being a global icon, the truth is far different. Her show was ranked 1,217th on Netflix, a massive failure for someone who was supposed to be the next big thing. Even her podcast didn't do much better. The numbers just aren't there. And what about that cooking show? It's been called out for its lack of real content and appeal.
Seth Doan looks now at Valentino's impact on fashion.
His last name was Garavani, but just Valentino was enough to signal elegance, glamour, and that Italian style. Celebrities and royals were among his many muses, red carpets his stages, and that scarlet, or was it poppy, was a signature, his seductive Valentino red.
I love beauties, I love making women sensational, glamorous, elegant.
Meghan's brand isn't resonating with the audience, and no amount of money or celebrity connections can change that. Even her attempts at self-promotion seem forced and disingenuous. Everything about Meghan's public persona feels manufactured, from her social media posts to her carefully chosen outfits. Every move seems like it's made for the cameras, not for real connection. The public sees through the act, and it's hurting her brand. People are growing tired of the constant victim narrative, the rehearsed smiles, and the desperate need for attention. It's starting to feel like Meghan's entire career is based on optics, not substance. Meanwhile, Harry, always at her side, is proving that he's no different.
You're done. This is why the funeral story is so damaging to her. Because here's why this Valentino funeral situation is not just embarrassing for her. It's a career-defining moment, in my opinion, because funerals are sacred territory in elite circles. Not just elite circles, in everybody's circle. Especially if you have, a close-knit family and you're like, oh yeah, that, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's very close-knit. But the moment that you see somebody that's not supposed to be there, everybody's like, why are they here? You know what I mean? Everything is handled silently when it comes to funerals, when it comes to elite circles, privately and respectfully, because that's the way people function. If Meghan Markle truly was part of this inner circle, think about it. She wants to be part of it. She thinks she is. She's a wannabe. This is one of two things that would have happened.
While Meghan may be the one making the calls and pulling the strings behind the scenes, Harry's actions show just how deep he's gotten into this performance. In the courtroom, during his emotional breakdown, it was clear that Harry's whole narrative is intertwined with Meghan's drama. He's not fighting for privacy, he's fighting for her, trying to protect her image and her story. This case, this legal battle, was never really about his own privacy. It was about defending the narrative that Meghan has carefully crafted.
Harry was on the defensive and very bristly and very abrasive. And the judge intervened 3 times to try and calm him down. I mean, the first time, which was the one that you showed there, he was actually quite sympathetic and he was quite like, look, this is my job. I understand that this is a big moment for you, but you're making a mistake that a lot of people make. Let me just tell you, your job now is just to answer these questions. Let your legal team answer the case. And Harry seemed to kind of go, okay, my lord, yeah, whatever. Then he carried on, then he did it again, and then he did it a 3rd time, and it was really bad the 3rd time. So this was in a question about Natalie Pinkham, who the Mail said that Katie Nicholl had called up Natalie Pinkham to ask her for a comment. She had given a comment, and then Katie had subsequently described her as a source. And Harry was basically saying, look, it's a different use of the term a source. When people say a source, they assume that means some sort of insider who's speaking secretly or privately or what have you. And the judge was like, yeah, look, I'm a media lawyer, mate. I understand what a source is. I understand what you're saying. I understand the difference between a confidential source and someone who's been called up by the journalist and asked for a comment.
But even in this case, Meghan couldn't help but make it all about her. Harry broke down in court, citing how the media had made his wife's life a misery. And while the courtroom was focusing on his fight with the press, Meghan's shadow loomed over every part of it. Was Harry truly trying to defend his privacy? Or was he just falling into the same trap of victimhood that Meghan has cultivated? It's all a pattern, isn't it? Meghan's constant quest for validation, for being seen as part of the elite, is backfiring in a big way. Valentino's funeral rejection was just the latest in a string of failed attempts to force her way into circles that don't want her. And Harry, constantly by her side, continues to fuel the narrative that is ultimately doing them more harm than good. Now let's talk about the bigger picture. Despite all the money, the deals, and the Hollywood dreams, it's clear that Meghan and Harry's aspirations are heading toward a serious collapse. The money is running out, the projects are tanking, and the media is no longer buying into their carefully crafted story. Insiders have revealed that their finances are in deep trouble, with reports of their extravagant lifestyle becoming unsustainable. From their massive mortgage to the cost of their Montecito mansion, it's all adding up, and the money they've spent on failed projects isn't coming back. And let's not even get started on the legal battles. If Harry loses his case against the Daily Mail, he could be ordered to pay millions in legal fees, which could financially cripple them. Meanwhile, Meghan is still chasing stardom, despite the mounting pressure and the growing sense that her time in the spotlight may be running out. The cracks in their carefully constructed image are showing, and it's becoming harder and harder for them to maintain the illusion of a glamorous Hollywood lifestyle. So what's next for Meghan and Harry? The marriage problems are getting harder to ignore, with rumors of Harry eyeing a possible reconciliation with his family in the UK, while Meghan is desperately trying to hold on to her Hollywood dreams. Their goals are completely incompatible, and the tension between them is only going to escalate. Tom Bower, the royal biographer, who's been predicting this unraveling for years, seems to have been spot on. He's been saying for a long time that Meghan's Hollywood dreams would fail, and now we're seeing the fallout in real time. From the Netflix flop to the fashion rejection, it's clear that Meghan's ambitions aren't just falling short, they're unraveling before our eyes. And as for Harry, well, his role in this whole saga is becoming clearer. He's not just along for the ride, he's fully invested in this image, this story, and it's all about his wife. But at what cost? Meghan Markle's Hollywood dream is dying a slow, painful death, and Harry is caught in the middle of it all. The real question now is how much worse it's going to get before it all comes crashing down. Every move, every failed project, every embarrassing moment just adds to the pile. The slow unraveling of their carefully constructed empire is far from over, and we're just getting started.